This is a return to paradise. We're returning back to paradise. I think this whole planet was paradise until man came and chopped it up and asphalted it and cemented it and built on it. But yeah, I think we're reestablishing, and we're hoping that one day here we're no longer working but just going around walking and harvesting. This is our optimum. We're trying to create abundance. My name is Edgar.
I'm Krista.
And welcome to our home.
How long has this been your home?
For the last 5 years, I think. Last 5 years we've been working here. Yeah, making an oven and making the terraces and the kitchen and the gardens. This is the center of the home, this medicine wheel here. This medicine wheel represents the 4 races, the 4 directions, the 4 elements. And then it spins out into the ancestors and the power animals and the power plants and so forth. This is a permaculture design that we've been working here. I really believe if anybody has any intentions of making some kind of eco-village or to live in nature of any kind, they should take a permaculture course.
Can you explain in short what permaculture is?
Permaculture is my life, actually. And it's perma is permanent, sustainable, and culture, agriculture, society. It takes all these elements and bases it with that is be green or eco-friendly, whether it be the energy, the food, the material of your home. It's about rescuing ancestral knowledge and applying new knowledge, new technology that's not degrading the planet. Inside here, inside the medicine wheel, we have a thyme here, and we have yerba luisa, lemongrass, and then we have chive over here. And we have echinacea, which we use for the roots for its medicinal purposes. In this permaculture design, if one year I decide not to garden anything and not to plant anything, there will always be something growing, whether it be the laurel or the aloe vera or the yerba luisa or the thyme or these plants will continue, they're perennials, they continually come every year. So even if the day that I do not do gardening, there'll be some kind of herbs or food in the garden. In agriculture, yeah, you might have a lot of food at once, but then you have barren land. And what happens if one year that barren land, it doesn't rain? It will never produce you anything. Here, if it doesn't rain, it doesn't matter. We continuously, the techniques we have with stones and with mulch, we continuously capture the dew from the morning, from the evening to continuously have our plants moist. It's not about monoculture or agriculture where a large extension and fields are totally turned over, and then the dust comes and blows the topsoil away, and the rain comes, hard rain comes and washes the topsoil away. And so what's essential, really essential in permaculture is mulching. You gotta mulch, cover the earth. If the earth is uncovered, it's exposed to like if we had an open wound in our skin. It's exposed to sickness and disease. Same thing with the soil. And if we don't cover it, the earth is smart enough to cover itself. And will cover itself with weeds in time. But and where I don't want weeds to grow, I cover it. So otherwise she'll cover herself. And as we can see that wherever it's covered, there's always moisture and life in the earth. In the gardens here, it's also about companion planting. This is very important. The garlic and the onions repel insects that will attack the lettuce and the cabbages. The puerro, which is in the onion and the garlic family, leek, they call it. The leek is planted next to the salad. The leek grows long and thin. And the fruit is actually below the earth, what we want. Also some above here is very good. And the salad, it's in a lower level, so they're not competing for space, and they're actually helping one another. And it's about collaborating with each other. In the permaculture design also, not only people but plants. You're looking for collaboration and not competition. Here, I haven't turned the soil here in years. I just keep chopping and dropping, and this is the technique just to build up soil. One thing, I used to be a permaculture teacher also back in Peru. One of the things that I used to always say was, if we learn to feed the earth will feed us. So we need to constantly also chop the herbs that are growing in the garden and just drop them down, and that's also nutrition for the food that we want to plant. A lot of the designs that we see in here in Beneficio and through our gardens are designs that we see, or patterns, natural patterns we see in nature. And it seems to everything grow with more life force than a straight line. This is a moon swale here. The design of the moon swale and its purpose is to trap any water that might be coming down. Also any topsoil erosion that could happen, the moon swale will trap the water or trap the soil from continuing down to the other yurt. And I try to design my life in a way that in 3 or 5 years perhaps there'll be less and less work here, and more just harvesting and creating art or just spending time with the family. That's my youngest son, Noah. He was born here. Yeah, there's a special freedom for the children to just experiment for themselves. I feel like a facilitator just to make sure he doesn't get hurt. But otherwise, I let him get loose and let him touch and taste everything he wants to touch or taste. I myself was brought up in the city. And in the city, you don't have much choices. And I find that here in nature, here in Beneficio, you have a choice of what you can do in life, what you want in life, what you want to do in the course of the day. Almost here, we don't see it as 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sundays. That really doesn't exist. It's almost like every day is Sunday except Thursday, which is market day. So this is the only day that differentiates. We mostly work also with the lunar cycle, and with the moon cycle, we know what to plant, when to water, when to weed, and it's not like we set up a set schedule Monday through Friday, we weed or we plant. We're taking you into the compost toilet, and we use 6 months of the year. We use one side, and then we close it up, and then we open up and use the other side. When this side is full, we close it back up, we go back to the other side, we empty it out, and reuse that side. So by the time we take it out, it's practically all dirt again. It's all compost, as humus. The worms has been in there, and essentially what we're emptying out is it's soil, and we use this compost to feed the trees and the shrubs around here.
I really like the concept of the compost toilet. It's just that, why don't you put like a little chair? It's just so that you have to hang like.
Actually, in the squatting position is the most comfortable and clean position.
Okay.
And in the sitting position, you totally not empty everything out.
Okay, that's follow.
This is also why it's almost like yoga. You start with your yoga and you start there with your squat position down there and emptying it all out, getting it all out. And this is Krista's and Noah's yurt, and they have the little space here. This is an original Mongolian yurt. It's got this felt and protective canvas lining and a pajama on top. It's got multi-layers that, in a dead winter cold night in southern Spain, you cannot get cold in here. Yes, this is a European yurt. The wood is thicker and the walls are taller. It's also kind of built up stronger, so it's not taken up and down like a Mongolian yurt is designed, more nomadic. This is more of a home that's been here, the floor has been made with lime underneath, with sand, wood, and just to make it more comfortable for us. Mm-hmm. It's a little piece of furniture we have here, and it's a little potty, night potty, and we use it in the evenings when it's too cold to go outside. They say that a man's home is his castle, and I think in my case, my home is my temple. I try to make my home not a castle but a temple, and I have different representations of the different religions, whether it's Buddhism or Rastafarism or Shiva or Christianism or Tantra or shamanism. I would say the most important of all is that one. So if you don't believe in any of them, at least believe in yourself. I believe we try to heal ourselves by blocking out all the consumerism advertising they try to impose on us. I think this is the main stress that's causing people. People are stressed out about making money because they want to buy a house, because they want to buy the car they saw, and etc., etc., etc. If we're not constantly being fed all this consumerism, then we can stop and let go. And then when you stop and let go, then I think is when you can become more relaxed and more in the flow of nature, flow with nature.
For me, it's a very distinct difference between this lifestyle and the lifestyle in Babylon, as we call that. Where Bob Marley also sings about. In Babylon existed a long time ago. I think it was in the time where it's now actually Iraq and Mesopotamia. And there were 2 towers of Babel. I don't know exactly. They fell down in the end. And we have also 2 towers that fell down in this world recently. But I think those worlds, they are a little bit alike, like the way they lived in Babylon and our system, because there was a big hierarchy and difference between poor and rich, and knowledge that was kept away from certain people. And maybe that's also where patriarchs also started to exist, and matriarchy disappeared from this continent. That came from there, I believe. But Babylon is for me the system. It's like a systemized world that's programmed, which you have to live. Like that. Babylon. It's for me unnatural, Babylon. For me, cars are also actually unnatural. The way they move, it goes too fast. It goes too fast for us, I think. For me, at least. I would like to ride a horse again and have spaces for horses and roads for horses and donkeys, and I don't need to go so fast. I have time enough. And in Babylon there's never time.
I don't think here you see so much money or people stressed out about paying their rent or their water bill or their electric bill. We have light as far as our candle, as far as our solar panels will give us, and that's it. You know, we don't have more, then you don't consume more. I've seen people come and stay here for months and never handle money. They can work for a meal. They can do some woofing, and yeah, I can also go without leaving for weeks. I don't have to go out and need in search of much, especially come spring and summer and the fall. Those times of the year you need really very little. You just mostly eat from the garden.
Honey, I'm hungry.
Okay, honey. Time to cook.
I'm hungry.
So yes, yesterday and almost every day here, we eat the veggies from the garden. So every day we're continuously being fed what we plant, and also we urinate around, and this also the plants pick up, and they see what we need also as nutrients, and they read our DNA, and then they say, oh, my friend Edgar here is sick, and I need to give him more iron, so I better put more nettle down, or it's something like this, you know. Just the magic of the place. We find that the medicines we normally need are right here around us. Is that true, honey? Yeah, one thing we try to ask people, since they don't pay rent or they don't pay electric bills here or anything, that at least when they do come here, that they use some kind of eco-friendly product to wash their dishes or their clothes with. Yeah, we don't have treatment of black water system because we don't have toilets. Well, we have compost toilets, and that's an enclosed system too, no? I think one thing important about permaculture is that as soon as an energy comes into the system, not to let it go back out. So that means if you have guests coming in and need to use your toilet, don't let that throw it back out. Let that energy stay in and use it in the compost. We have a gray water system here that waters the banana and the other trees and the other herbs, mints and things. And this is our gray water system.
What do you mean with gray water?
The gray water tree, whatever comes out of our dirty dishes, the nutrients that gets washed away with that water, and these plants benefit of these nutrients and filter out the water. So when the water gets down there, it's further down in the garden. It's been processed or filtered. Oh, it's ready to be harvested. Broccoli.
Is that dinner?
That's dinner. my 16-year-old son gets tired of it, but my main meals here at home consist of rice and stir-fried vegetables. And yeah, with a little bit of ginger and tamari and the vegetables from the garden and a little bit of rice, I can feed, I don't know, as many people as could show up. We'll be putting in the spring onions now. It's a continuous evolution, continuous planting, continuous harvesting. Huh? Yeah, like any home, we need to do the wash, no? But yeah, we tried to do a clean energy wash, and we have a couple solar panels and a battery here and a 220 transformer, and we have an old caravan washing machine. In the beginning, I was like on one side of the pendulum, very consumerist. I used to weigh 140 kilos, have too much of everything, and went the other way, and to live in nothing and to live in a teepee and don't buy anything from the outside. And then somehow, since I've had the children, that pendulum has somehow gone to the middle, and now I'm trying to find a balance of things that I can use that would help make my life easier. Yeah, I like an easy life, you know. I don't like to work too much, and so this is recycled from an old caravan also. It's a refrigerator. Look, we hardly have anything in it. That's good, isn't it? Everything's fresh from the garden. As I need it, I go and pick it. Otherwise, I keep it alive until the last moment. And also, when I cook the food, I like to keep it as live as possible, not overcook the veggies, and trying to keep them fresh and crunchy still, and nutritious. Yeah, this is not recycled, but it's something necessary when you have a home. And I've been cooking for years in a one gas stove cooker, and now wow, what can I do with 5 and an oven at the same time? I can get you some incredible food out of here. It took years for us to have a hot shower here. It took years for us to have this washing machine here, but after years now we have it all, and we feel we have it all. And I try not to see too much what's out there to buy. There's our olive oil for the year, cold press from the area. I don't know how much you guys pay for the liters up there, but here it's from the earth, and we try to live here for much of the earth, as you can see with the pumpkins from the season. These pumpkins are from last seasons, and the almonds are also from last year. And as you see, the house here is practically made of all natural material. There's some plastic fantastic there in between the bamboo and the brezo there. To keep it impermeable, to keep it water free. We use this place, I don't know, I would say year round.
Hey, but the terrace heater doesn't look so eco-friendly. What's that?
No. Well, it's propane, so it kind of burns clean. We don't have a biodigester here to create our own gas at this point yet, but yes, this is something to look to in the future to be totally sustainable. The heater, yeah, it looks like out of proportion here, and everything that's so natural. But since I live here year round, outside, I do take some things that society does offer us to make our life more comfortable. Living in nature is not about suffering, it's about living in luxury. It's said that we tend to spend more than 50% of our lives in our home. So we have tried to make our home a well-being home where we feel well and in comfort and in nature. So yeah, this is the warm farm I have here for the home and for the garden. I put
all the trash.
Yeah, I put all the compost, all the organic matter, even paper you can put in here, and carton. What we have at the end is a humus product that it really enriches the soil around here. This was an abandoned cortijo, and hardly anything would grow here. I was told nothing would grow here, and well, look at our gardens now. One of the other things that I take from that transformed our organic matter into humus also is what I call a coffee, and this is the juice that it expels from the worm farm, and this is very, very rich for your soil. We could bottle it and sell this stuff. It really makes your plants green and grow super quick and fast. I just take some of this. I don't even water it down. It's abundant here, no? It's about abundance, so I don't even water it down. You can't overdose this. Also, as you can see, the tomatoes for May right now, this is pretty good.
How long have you built to make this place?
I've lived in many parts of Beneficio. And many years ago, 18 years ago, 19 years ago, I lived in Old Beneficio. When I returned, I lived down by the Big Lodge, in the forest, in the Peyote Circle up here, and now I'm down here. So yeah, I've through the process of it, I always try to improve wherever I have been, or in the case where I lived in the forest, leave it like I found it. Beneficio was started by this couple, English couple, John and Yvonne. And John and Yvonne used to live downriver in another community. And this community was getting to be too much alcohol and too many dogs. And one day they said, hey, we have to find another place to make a different type of community. And they walked up the dried river up here, and boom, they walked into this valley, and John and Yvonne said, this is it. There was 2 and then 5, and it slowly grew to the number that we are around now, 260, I think. And it's I believe it's a real true vision. Otherwise, we would not be existing here now. We try still to have no alcohol here in Beneficio. We have seen the degradation of other communities and of society with alcohol and hard drugs, and we prefer that Beneficio is free of these things here.
Does it work?
Sometimes it does, and we have like a little gray area, which is the parking. And to there we allow, up here we've had enough circles that people already know that there's no alcohol here. In the years it's become a place for more families to come and raise their children. And yeah, this is what it's been created for the children.
How would you describe this place?
A healing place. The gardening and this Ecovillage working towards, it's been a late thing, but I think all along through the beginning, it's been a healing place, where you have the time and the space to heal yourself. I think this is one of the main special things that I find about Beneficio. And the other thing, free. It's all free, you know. Yes, some of us made some donations, large donations to free up this land, but yeah, it's free. We bought it with intentions to free up the land, and that we belong to the land, and the land doesn't belong to us. And for our children, for the future, for humanity to come and visit and see how a group of people have come together to try to coexist with nature. Here we function with the talking stick, and the talking stick, it's the most powerful thing we have here in Beneficio. We have talking circles, and this is how we settle our disputes or make consensus on decisions.
So how does it work with the stick?
how does it work with the stick? Can you get me the stick, please? It's on the altar, the talking stick.
Do you also use it here if you have a fight?
Oh, we should do that.
Yes.
Here. Thank you.
Yeah, this is our talking stick, and whoever has the stick has the power to talk, and everyone else listens. The way it works is one who called the circle would start the stick. It gets passed around, and everybody gets to say. And if it's not settled yet, it keeps getting passed around until we come to a consensus on a decision. And at which time the stick is passed in silence without anyone saying a word. And that would mean that consensus has been reached.
Yeah.
I hope people can make more places like this, and I would ask them to make sure they have their own water source, so they don't get a water bill. I think this is the key in making an eco-village. You need your own water source.
And how's that here?
We have 3 fountains that provide our water for our gardens and for our drinking. So and water is life. Without it, we cannot grow anything or be here to drink or wash ourselves. So. Yeah, we have our own spring, and we bring the water from the source. But we still, because it's got a little bit extra lime, we tend to filter it also. The water is still very much alive. It's got no chlorine in it. You need a place in nature, so you have the right to fresh air and clean water. Yeah, also the contamination of sonora, the sound contamination, which destabilizes a lot of many people. We're free of sounds except the ones of nature, and free of contamination of motors. We have agreements of no motor vehicles here. And we have clean air and clean water. I think this is the basic things any human needs. How do I see the world? I travel much of this world, and I think this planet is beautiful. And this is a very special part of the planet too, and this is why I live here. But I think we need to take better care of it. I think that's the most important. And I think we need to share more. I think sharing creates abundance. There's too much egoism going on this planet right now. People, instead of creating societies of collaboration and cooperation, it's about competition and selfishness. When you're inside the mud, you cannot see anything, So this is a little bit about how I feel society is. They're a little bit blinded of what's going on around them and within themselves. I see the expression in their faces and the way they stand or the way they walk, or you can see that they're sitting down maybe 12, 16 hours a day and not walking enough, or too much escalator, elevator, automobile. There's not enough green space in the cities. And they're still designing cities in a way that are not sustainable. The buildings and everything is still not being designed sustainable. Every time I go in a building, I have to use the toilet and do it on water, you know. And when here water, we take it as so sacred and holy. That cleanses us and quenches our thirst, and waters our garden, but not to shit on. We don't shit on water here. And in some ways, also, it's our way to protest on what is going on in society, in the government. No one has to see our protest, but I know I'm protesting on what's going on.
It's a nice way to protest.
Yeah, a more pacific protest I can't think of, except just stop listening to them and stop consuming their products. I just don't know any other way. So they're not. I'm not being sold anything they're trying to sell me, or I'm not trying to sell anything here to anyone either. I'm not selling this way of life to anyone. Everyone has to find out for themselves. But there is an alternative.
Imagine that the people now looking to the film thinking, wow, this place is great, I'm gonna move here. What do you have to tell? What do you want to tell them?
What I have for people, please don't come. Yes, we have thousands of visitors here, so it's difficult sometimes to handle all the visitors that come here. But what I wanted to show you is not for you to perhaps come here, perhaps you're too far to come, but I just want to show you that you can do it. That you can do it out there. One of the definitions of what an eco-village is, it's the natural human resources of approximately 300 to 500 people. We're reaching that limit ourselves at this point. And we feel that with new arrivals coming in, as they have come in the last years, that have not really perhaps adapted fully to our community. And so we have to watch our expansion of how fast this community grows. And we're reaching those limits, also for space. We're continuously trying to reach out to people and get more donations to free up more of this valley. But still, even if more land were to be freed up, we still would not want the population to continue to grow, as it has been the last few years because of the way things are going out there with the system. There's been a greater pressure on communities like ourselves that are free. Why no more than that number? Because more than that number, we need a government. And we did not come out here to recreate what has been created out there. You know, if the system doesn't collapse, nothing's happened. Okay, I just go on in my way and continue my life the way I'm living it. And if the system does collapse, well, I'm ready. Yeah, I don't think I want people to go through hunger and this. I don't wish this on anyone. But people have to realize that the cities are not sustainable. And if for A, B, C reasons, for some catastrophe of nature or cost of petroleum and the trucks stop moving and the ships stop moving, how long does a supermarket last with its shelves full? 5 days. You got 5 days of grocery shopping. After that, no more food. So yeah, I think the best thing for people to do now is to go back out to nature and live off the land. Take technology and knowledge that one has learned and that's not hurting the nature and apply it, use it. And don't forget to ask your grandparents what they used, and also get that knowledge and apply it and use it. Yeah, the planet has a chance. We're in those crossroads, but we gotta make the decision now. We need to act now. We can't wait anymore.